Chris in Weatherville, North Carolina. Hey, Chris, what's on your mind today?
Well, so my question is, I heard it on the news this morning that because of what happened over there, everybody seems to think now that Hillary's going to have a harder time getting elected because Donald Trump's going to work on this. I kind of wondering what you thought about it.
I think that that's entirely possible, and very unfortunate. As I said before, there has been for a long time. I mean, go back to the election of 1992 when Ross Perot took 19+% of the vote just on the issue of basically sovereignty over trade, okay, the ability of our country to have its own trade policy as opposed to joining Mexico and Canada and having a collaborative trade policy, which is, a good chunk of what the European Union is all about. In fact, originally it was entirely what it was all about. And so that anti-globalism sentiment has been real in the United States, and it has been real. A small part of it is informed by right-wing xenophobia and racism. A large part of it is informed by simple, basic David Ricardo, Adam Smith economics. And people get that, and they've figured it out. And that's why, when Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump are both saying we need to get out of NAFTA, and people are going, yes, you're right. That's why I'm saying this is not a right or left issue. And the problem is that with, at least with regard to the British leaving the European Union, or that the right wingers, the racist right wingers, grabbed this thing. Marine Le Pen now in France is doing it. It's the right wing groups all over Europe are going, yeah, this is the thing we can use to win. But it's not. For a very small slice of the population, yes, it's this right wing racist thing. But most of it is not. Most of it is purely economic nationalism, and I think it's because the institutional Democratic and Republican parties have both, over the course of the last 30 years, 35, 40 years, have both embraced globalism, essentially. And the European Union, the European Union is their version of it. We've got NAFTA, the WTO, to all these other things. Because the elites of both parties have embraced this, you get these outsiders like Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump who are saying, hey, wait a minute, we don't want that. And that sentiment, like I said, you can go all the way back to 1992. That sentiment has only grown since 1992. And I know that there are people in the Democratic Party. Probably Sherrod Brown is one of the most well-known. I mean, they're talking about him as a vice president with Hillary Clinton, a possible vice president, and he's opposed to NAFTA. I mean, he has been opposed to all these trade deals. So there is, there are good progressives who hold these positions, but as long as, frankly, this is the problem, is that basically what the Brits just said, or a small 4% majority of the Brits just said was no thank you to the neoliberal globalism, as it were, to the European Union, and we're gonna try and build this here within our own country, and in other words, we're not happy with the status quo, we're not happy with the establishment. And in the United States, and I've been saying this for a long time, I think that much of what this election is going to come down to is, are you an insider or an outsider? And people are sick and tired of the insiders. Now, they're sick and tired of the insiders for the wrong reasons. They're sick and tired of the insiders because the Republican insiders have gone out of their way to break the system. And tragically, a lot of people have blamed that on Democratic insiders as well. Although there are, a few within the Democratic Party who are, can share blame for some of this, but Hillary Clinton being perceived as an insider and Donald Trump being perceived as an outsider, it sure looks like the world is going in the opposite direction that it was in the late 70s and early 80s with Thatcher and Reagan, toward neoliberalism. We tried that for 30 years. It didn't work. The world is now moving away from neoliberalism. And yeah, this may have some effect on the U.S. election, and it might not be a good one. I would not disagree with that at all. Chris, thanks for the call.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.